Hey, what's happening, guys? Welcome to another episode of Comic Book Weekly. And alongside me this evening, as of right now, we have Cat Comic Uno. Never fear,
Hello.
Brant will be here, though, because he's just running late. So that's all. He's just still setting up his computer and stuff like that. But we will, as promised, definitely have the full cast on today. And we're definitely going to be talking about that Batman Hush stuff for sure. A lot of you guys already show just started have your comments in there when it comes to Batman Hush. So like I said, we will get to that topic. And I think it will be a fun one because I think a lot of people have different things to say when it comes to the to the comic book itself and just the whole thing in general. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, for sure. It was interesting because we weren't on last week. Sorry for that, but we're here now. But there was the Bendis conversation from last week, and this week I was like, I don't know what's the big thing. And then I realized, yeah, Batman Hush could be kind of interesting conversation because I don't think that many people have been talking about it other than here it is. And it's a very again, we'll get into it more, but just to do the prelude is like it's a very weird release schedule. It's a very Superman Unchained, if you guys remember that, where Superman Unchained came out and they then had the new Superman book, and it's kind of similar. They have Batman Hush, and now they have the Batman book into like now issue 4. So, or the next issue is going to be issue 4. But yeah, we will talk about Hush. We are going to go into some news first, and then we will go into our main topic. The
The
first thing
one
we're going
thing,
to talk
though, I wanted
yeah,
to say
go ahead.
is,
Yeah.
and we're not going to get too much into it,
Yeah.
but the one thing I wanted, I thought when this was announced, I thought like it was pretty much in the can. Like I thought it was done. You know what I'm saying? And that obviously is not the case.
No, yeah, and I feel like I remember hearing that too, but I feel like especially in comic news, sometimes rumors run wild and someone says this and they're like, it's done. And then someone picks up that story and not all the time it's true. Because like you said, obviously it wasn't done, or maybe they made changes to the story. I don't know, but it was very delayed. And it's so interesting when things are delayed because you're like, where did the delays come from? Is it the writer? Is it the artist? And I'll say probably Jim Lee because I believe Superman Unchained was also a Jim Lee book. So
It
each time
was.
was delayed because
It
of him.
definitely was. And I felt like that story took like a year to
It
tell.
took a really long time for the next, it was like over a year. I want to say to finish it. It had like 2 or 3 issues left, and it took a year for those 2 to 3 issues to come out. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
when we go into it before, later on, I want to find out when the first issue of Hush came out to where we're at to this point.
Yeah, that'll be fun for the conversation. But
So
yeah, so
definitely.
you guys will wait that way we could get Brant onto the conversation for that too. But we are going to talk about some news. So first up is that Ice Cream Man has cards, and I know because I saw Mike's video. I don't remember if it was last week or this week. I think it was last week. You got the cards. So how did you feel about that type of storytelling?
I did. The cost of the cards I know were like $10. I didn't pay for mine. I actually had a friend of mine who got them at another shop, and he had a couple of decks, and he got one deck for free. They gave him to him, and he was like, "I got a deck already." He's like, "Mike, do you want a deck?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure," because I wasn't gonna buy it at first, and then I
Mhm.
was like, and then I first,
Because you don't
then
read
I
Ice
thought
Cream
like,
Man either, right? You don't
"What's
read Ice
that?"
Cream Man. You also don't read Ice Cream Man
I
currently,
haven't,
right?
not as of
Yeah.
late. I mean, not that it's a bad series; it's a good series. It's just I stopped reading it. But at first I was like, well, if they have some at the desk or something, maybe I'll buy a deck. And I didn't see it. But then when I was walking out, there was a few more decks there. But the cards themselves, the story that it presented, oh my gosh, it was like so unique, so different, so interactive, so engaging. And it was very sad by the time you wound up getting to the end of it as well. But the way the story was presented, it was just like you see a character in there and he's like, "Hey, my name is blah blah blah. Here's my card." And so you flip the card over and you see the guy's business card. So you're like reading the business card like he handed you the business card, which is so interesting, you know? And then there was a part in there as well where the kid is playing Uno and you come across a reverse card in there. So
Oh,
it's,
that's cool.
yeah, the way they did it was just so
They
different.
actually play with cards, like other cards.
Correct. And it was very, very well done. Totally outside the box. If they did another one, I would definitely check it out again.
I wish they promoted it more because, like, I only saw it because I saw a review for it. It was like I thought it was a press release being like, "Oh, this is going to come out soon," but it was literally a review for something that had already come out. I was like, "Oh, that kind of sucks that they didn't really promote it that much."
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I saw it on League of Comic Geeks, and then I think my comic shop does the FOC each week, and so they sent the FOC the newsletter, and I saw that on there. I'm like, do I want a deck of cards? You know, I was just like, I wasn't sure if you could play. Like, is it a game? Like, I wasn't exactly sure what it was, but it literally was a story, and that's all it is. And you just read the cards from first card to the 55th card, and then that's that.
Yeah,
My
no,
wife saw that. My wife saw me reading it because I was at the kitchen table and I was reading it. She's like, "So now you're reading comic stories at the kitchen table through a deck of cards," and she just could not get it. And I'm like, "Dude, it's like it's totally different." She's like, "Okay." It was so funny.
No, and that's cool. You need innovation in comics. Again, I wish it was promoted more because then that innovation could be, enjoyed more. But it is cool that it exists, and I'm sure Ice Cream Man fans in particular probably really liked it. I do see a comment here that's about Batman, but not Batman Hush, so I think it's fair game. So Morningstar said the main Batman title sucks. Detective Comics hasn't been the greatest since Detective Comics 1000 was probably the last good Batman stories, and honestly, seeing that doesn't surprise me. And yet they evolved Superman to become something more and more different. And what he was originally being married, having kids, but still be Superman. They can't do that with Batman. This is why Batman sucks. I think it's interesting because, like, obviously, if you're comparing Superman with Batman, I do think Superman's the better title just because it does have such progression and it ties so directly to DCKO and like events going on in the universe. And again, this is coming from a much bigger Batman fan, but I think Batman's been so much better than it used to be. Like, I'm loving Matt Fraction's run for Batman. I did drop off of Detective Comics, but I've been really liking this current run for Batman.
I like this current run for Batman, but I wasn't a big fan of the third issue. I like that. I like the first and second issue. This third issue, there was just like there's a lot going on in that issue, and I just remember like for some reason there was something there that I don't know, man. I just couldn't get into it. It didn't hit like the first two issues did.
I think the first two were definitely more focused. I like the third issue for the smaller moments. I think I saw your review and you hated the Bernard moment, but as someone,
that's right.
Yeah, and someone I don't like Bernard as a character. Like, I usually am very bored by him. But the reason I really like that scene is because I was like, oh, this is fine. Like, gives him a personality. It gives him like he cares for Tim and he has the guts to go up against Bruce Wayne. And I was like, oh, that's so much more personality than I've ever seen from the character in 2 pages compared to like how many issues he's been in. So I was like, oh, I was kind of impressed by that. I remember there's some Riddler stuff in there. There's another thing I remember I liked from that issue, but obviously it was 2 weeks ago. That I was like, oh, this is really solid. There's some really good small moments, but I think issue 1 had more of a through line, which obviously Killer Croc, and then issue 2 had the Tim stuff. So if you're comparing to the first 2 issues, yeah, those were better, but I still really liked the third issue. Like, I still really enjoyed the character beats.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Bernard thing, I don't know. It just came out of left field for me. I just wasn't expecting it. Like I said, I don't have an issue with him being in a relationship with Bernard. It was just the way it just was like, oh yeah, he's like every time he goes in one of your outings, he's beat up. Like, I don't know, it's just weird. It's kind of like it's one of those things as a comic reader, yeah, like they're buddies and they hang out and they're Batman and Robin and things are going to happen. So you're saying like no one else knows who Tim is, but no one else has said that before. And it just happened to say that here. And it's kind of like I want to almost I don't know. For me, it's like, just leave that alone. Like, why do you got to bring that out of the bag for some reason? Like, is he now going to be suspect of, Tim being somebody else or hanging out with Bruce? Is it going to be an ongoing type of situation,
So far, there hasn't been anything ongoing in this series. So I don't know. I think the way I read it, I think he might be afraid that his boyfriend's being abused because he keeps getting hit. So I think that might be his story.
That's what I get that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, nobody else in Gotham ever assumed that, hey, Tim Drake hangs out with Bruce Wayne, and why does he always get beat up? And
I think back in the day in the 90s, that's a good question, or the early 2000s, because you saw him interact with other people more. But if we're thinking like modern comics, Tim really only hangs out with the Bat family. Does he do anything else? Besides Bernard, I don't think he really does.
And I'm sure Bruce Wayne gets beat up too.
Sure.
Like, I mean, it's just one of those things where I don't know, you assume that, you don't look into it that much. It's just like, yeah, these guys get beat up all the time. Don't the normal folk just wonder, why does Tim Drake look like that when he's walking down the street as just Tim Drake? Why is Bruce Wayne always beat up? He goes to business meetings and all the time and think about all the fights, but it's never brought up. So to bring that up now, I don't know. It just seemed weird to me.
I'd be curious to see where it goes. I think it is an interesting story, but we'll see if it even continues. There was two questions. Didn't Tim's dad question this in the 90s before he was out? Yeah, he did. Like, that was a big part of his arc. Like, if you read the original Robin stuff with Tim, his dad always like, what the fuck's going on? And then like he ended up finding out later on, and then he ended up dying because of it, and he's still dead. So we also have a Matt Fraction thing here. He ruined Iron Man in so many ways. Matt Fraction destroyed was the foundation of what Iron Man was. A classic storytelling. To have him write Batman is literally going to be the worst. I expect the worst. I wouldn't go into things with predetermined thoughts, because then you're obviously not going to like it. Obviously, this is coming from two people who loved Matt Fraction's run of Iron Man. That's like my favorite Iron Man run. So it's
I like it.
We come from different directions on that.
I don't think it was perfect, right? But I did like it. I did enjoy it. And for me, I thought, honestly, it was probably the last like really good, decent, in my opinion, Iron Man runs, like long run.
We like superhero Iron Man, and that wasn't too long.
That's not a long. That's why I said a long run. This Fractions run was a long.
Yeah, it was like 30 issues, and it was very long. I agree. It was so funny because I was in the comic book store last week, and I was talking to the owner, and he was looking at my pile, and he's like, "Oh, you got Strange Tales?" I'm like, "Haha, I know. Like, I'm the only one who gets that book because I just like the Runaways a lot, so I've been getting it." And then this guy in from the corner says like, "Oh, I think only Brian K. Vaughan's Runaways is great." And I was like, "Oh, I mean, that's cool. Like, that's cool to have your opinion." He's like, "I only read one issue of the other one, and it sucked." I'm like, what? How do you have an opinion if you only read one issue? Because then that's what I mean by like going in predetermined sometimes. Like, and again, we all do it. We all have our biases.
Yeah, we all. Yeah,
I don't love Hickman all the time, but guess what? I don't love Hickman all the time, but I still tried being open-minded with Ultimate Spider-Man, and I loved Ultimate Spider-Man.
Right.
So you have to like obviously carry your baggage, but I feel like to enjoy and try to enjoy a comic, you have to be like, okay, let's see. Even John Romita Jr., like there's times where it's like, okay, we don't love his art. And again, most of the time we're not going to love his art, but like maybe you go into something, especially a new series, you're like, that wasn't maybe for me, but I really like the story or whatever. I think that's going to make it easier for you guys when you're picking up comics.
Like one of my commenters made a comment about a book that I did not like. Like, I felt like it was almost unreadable last week. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, you had a predetermined judgment already before you even went into it. I'm like, you might be right, but
everyone does, right?
But we all have predetermined judgments on every book. So like, you get a book and you think it's going to be freaking awesome, and then it sucks. Mm-hmm. Or you might think you have a book that is going to be crappy, and then it surprises you, right? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like what you want. you might think, oh yeah, this book is going to be bad, and then it does surprise you. So we all have judgment on book before we go into it in some way, shape, or form, right? So it's only natural to feel that way.
Yeah, and I think it's the language, right? Because there's some language I was seeing in the comments where it's like, I'm going to hate this. I think going and be like, I usually don't like this person, but let's see what's going to happen. Or just be like, I don't like this person. I'm not going to pick it up because I know I don't normally like this person. Like a good example is I watched a new Frankenstein movie, and I was doing my podcast. I do another podcast called The Legendary Ladies, and we used to review Legends of Tomorrow, and now we just kind of do other media stuff because the show was over, and we still wanted to do a podcast with each other. So my friend picked Frankenstein to watch. And I was like, I really don't like these type of movies. I don't love period pieces. Like, I don't like gothic horror. It's just not my thing. And I obviously had that predetermination before I watched the movie about that. And then when I was watching the movie, I kind of didn't like it. And I was like, oh, this is because of my predetermined thoughts that I wouldn't like this movie. But then also, like, I feel these definitely movies I go into and be like, I'm going to hate this. And I'm like, wait, actually, yeah, I actually like this. I think it also depends on how something pulls you in. Like if something pulls you in the first 15 minutes, you're like, whoa, this kind of like got my attention. I think it also has to do with pacing, obviously, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, let's get into the next topic, which is we have Thor and Shazam crossover in a digital platform, and so did Flash and Fantastic Four. I read it just because I was curious and it was free. So what you do is that you go on the DC Infinite app and you just have to, make an account and then you get it for free. And then same thing for Marvel. But what was interesting with the DC one is that you were able to read on desktop. So they didn't really have a barrier to entry there. For Marvel, you had to download the app on your phone. Now, I think that was a positive and a negative because obviously it's going to read better on your phone. So like, it's kind of nice that Marvel forced you, but then Marvel also kind of gives you 3 more steps to do it. What I thought was interesting was just, again, it's a route for people to read their digital content. So I was like, oh, this was a very interesting marketing ploy. Were the stories like, drop dead gorgeous or like amazing? No, I think they're pretty skippable. But if you like those characters, they're fun. Like they're fun to read and they're free. Right. But I just thought it was a very interesting marketing thing they did. It's like, here's a crossover that you can only read digitally.
A good thing to sit there and be like, oh, get our apps. This is what you need to do.
This is actually a really good example of predeterminedness. I didn't think I would like K-pop Demon Hunter, and I loved it. But that is a good example. I remember a lot of people were talking about it, and me and Phil, my business partner, we had assigned books. We were like, let's put a movie on. And we're like, oh, what's an easy like movie that we don't really need to pay attention to? And we're like, K-pop Demon Hunter. People have been talking about it, and we're watching it. I'm not saying like it's a 5-star movie for us, but I was like, wow, that's like better than I expected. I had a fun time with it. Like I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. That's a great example of like, what's this K-pop Demon Hunter thing? And then you might end up enjoying it. So let's see if there's any other comments. I don't think there's any other comments on that. Let's get into, I think we're going to get into other news, I guess, because we're still waiting for Brant. And then Brant could just catch up. But we do have Redcoat is getting a movie. I think it's a movie. Let me double check that. I know. Yeah, it's a movie. Which who's surprised by that? Because like it's Jeff Johns. He's done so much with film and television. He had his own production company when Stargirl and all that was going on. So I'm not surprised, but I love seeing opportunities for these comic books that are doing really great in the direct market to go to other people.
I agree. I mean, listen, it's funny because when it comes to Redcoat, I was like, again, almost making that prejudgment, right? I was sitting there going, I don't think I'm going to like this book. I think this book might suck for me because this has to deal with a historical figure. It takes place in a certain time. And it's just, I don't like history stuff. So right away, I went into it, same thing, thinking that I'm going to dislike this. Nope. Every issue has gotten better and better and better. And the character Simon Pure is absolutely awesome. The Redcoat story is really good. And I'm happy I gave the book a chance. So even though I knew that this was not necessarily up my alley, I gave it a chance. I read it. It's got great artwork. And now it's a movie. And or it's going to be in a movie. And I am super excited about that. And congratulations to Jeff Johns for making, for getting that to a movie as well.
And so quickly, because the book has
Yeah.
been out for like a year. All right, let's get into, let's see. Let's do S.H.I.E.L.D. returns in the next chapter of Chip Zdarsky's run. I'll be honest, I've not been reading that side of comics, and I didn't know S.H.I.E.L.D. was gone. So I was just like, oh, S.H.I.E.L.D., I didn't know they left.
Oh,
But
Shield's been gone for a long
I,
time.
I didn't,
Like,
honestly, again, I haven't been reading
for,
Avengers. How long?
oh, it's been years already.
That's crazy.
I'm,
What
I'm
event
trying to
did they get?
remember like what happened, like why they disappeared, and I
genuinely don't remember
just
either.
right out of my like brain. It's like kind of there, but I can't quite remember. Oh, I can't remember. It had
In
to
the
do with
comments, let us know.
it had to do with an event, obviously, and I just can't remember. If you guys can let us know why they disappeared, let me know or let us know.
Yeah, because I genuinely didn't remember what was going on there. But we do have some new characters. We got Red Widow, Castlemore. We got, it looks like Nick Fury. I can't tell who else is on this team. Looks like Ramos and Tambling. Those are the characters I'm seeing in the character sketches here. But I've not been reading Chip Zdarsky's run, but I think it's cool that they're doing things to try to get people to read the series if they're not reading it. A Secret Empire. That's crazy if it was that long ago.
Oh my God, was it Secret Empire? No
That was
way.
like 5+ years. That was like before.
That's way. I think that's way more.
That was before the pandemic.
I thought it was after Secret Empire. Man, Hydra Cap is correct. So, and it's coming back in this Captain America run. And so I read the first 2 issues of Captain America, and then I didn't like this other Cap that was involved. So now it looks like maybe this Captain America might be disappearing or whatever. And it's starting the new story arc in issue 6. So that's where we're going to get this new S.H.I.E.L.D. and it's going to lead to the new the Avengers event. So I think that's where we're going with it.
All right. Well, that's our S.H.I.E.L.D. conversation here. We also have, I'm trying to skip Bendis. I'm going to get to Bendis for one of the last topics. We do have Daredevil. We were just talking about it. So Daredevil is going to be relaunched and Stephanie Phillips is taking it over. We're going to get blind bags with it. And the artist is Lee Garbett. They worked on that Shadow book. I forgot what it's called. Remember let me see if I can remember. Lee Garbett. Book. It was at Image Comics. It was called, let me see. Let's do Shadow.
It's called the Shadow book.
I'm telling you, it was called Shadow something. I mean, I know it was Image Comics. I'm going to look at League of Comics. And you read it. You read this comic book and you liked it. So that's why I remember. Let's see. But anyways, she is taking over Daredevil. I like Stephanie Phillips. I think she's been doing great with Spider-Gwen. So I'm curious to see where it goes. I'm also not a hardcore Daredevil fan, though. So I'm like, oh, if this is not great, then, just like most Daredevil books, I'm probably not going to read it. There's very few I've continued to read. Here it is. It's called Shadecraft.
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 Yeah. I remember that book. That was pretty cool. I feel like Daredevil is definitely something different for her. That's why I felt like when she wrote Capwolf, that one was different for her too, and she did a really great job with that book. And now she's writing Spider-Gwen, which the last issue really cemented it for me to continue the series. And I think for me, she had some on and off series, but she's definitely, I feel, an up and coming writer, and obviously other people do too if they're giving her more higher profile character like Daredevil. Like this is an ongoing, well, we think it's an ongoing series at least anyway, right? So we'll see what happens with it. And what I'm curious to see, like what her vision is for the character, what she has in plan for him,
And she's worked her way up too. Like it's not like here's Daredevil and she's never worked on anything. She's like doing so much for Marvel for so many years and like has been in the industry for a long time. So I think it makes sense to give her a shot. We actually do have Brant, it looks like, on the show. Here it is.
Hey guys.
Hello, Brant.
Sorry I'm late.
It's okay. We're stalling a little bit, but
Yeah,
I'll tell
appreciate
you
it.
some of the things we already talked about. So we talked about all the news pieces except Bendis. We did not talk about Wolverine because you want to talk about that. And we didn't talk about Image Comics holiday bags. So if there's anything on the list besides those, if you want to talk about, we were just talking about Daredevil.
Okay. I mean, Daredevil, the big thing for me is Stephanie Phillips is writing it. So I'm excited to see what she can do with the character. Other than that, you know, it's kind of a wait and see. But yeah, that's cool. What else? Let's see. You didn't talk about Wolverine yet, right?
We did not talk about Wolverine.
Okay. You talked about Shield.
Yet. Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about that either. I mean, it's kind of cool. I'm a little behind on Captain America, so I'm not exactly up to date on what's going on in the series. So
Has nothing to do with Shield yet.
yeah,
It's taking place in the new story arc, which is issue 6.
okay. So I think that's going to tie into the Wolverine thing, and that's why I marked the Wolverine thing. So I'll talk about that when we get there. What else? Let's see what else
We talked about the Redcoat movie.
Yeah.
Those were pretty much all the big ones.
Okay, I'm super excited about Redcoat. I mean, I love that series. I love everything from Ghost Machine, really, but that is one of the better books. And obviously, an issue came out this week, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah, no, I'm curious to see how they handle it. Like, it's got to be cast right. It's I'm excited about it, but I'm also like, I just hope they get it right. So
No, for sure. All right, let's get into. I'm going to talk about this Image Comics thing really quickly, and then we'll do the Wolverine and then Bendis. So Image Comics is teaming up with a company called Gong Bonk, and they're doing like holiday blind bags for limited, highly collectible mystery variants, and I thought that was pretty cool if you're looking for gifts. I do wish that they gave it to retailers though. I think that was my only thing where I'm like, oh, that's so weird. It's only going through this website, and it just
That
seems
is
like
weird.
such a
yeah,
something that I would buy at the comic book store if I randomly saw it. I
Yeah,
don't
if
think
you
I would
just
go on a
stop, you would
website to get
definitely
it.
Yeah, you would definitely be like, "Oh, which one of these things?" And you would pick it
Right.
up, right? Now
right,
it's online, I'll probably forget it and not buy one.
No,
yeah,
exactly. So
totally.
it was a weird team up, but it looks like that website's all about blind bags and stuff. So I guess they're just.
Gotcha.
I'm guessing what my guess is it's more Image trying to get the fans of that website than Image trying to get the fans they already have. I think they're just trying to convert fans in that way.
Yeah.
All right,
Can
let's
I ask
go
you guys a
to
quick
yeah,
question?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
How's my volume? I can't hear myself because my earbuds went out, so I have to use these.
Oh,
And
you're good.
Totally
Yeah.
fine.
Okay,
It
cool.
sounds
Because
good,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can't hear myself at all. So okay,
No,
cool.
you're good. We'll let you know if anything changes, but
Thank
you
you.
should be
Appreciate
good.
it.
All right, let's do the Wolverine thing. So, Brant, you want to really talk about this?
Yeah. So I was reading more into it, and yeah, it starts with the Wolverine story to intro it, but it's tied into the origin boxes that popped up at the end of Incursion, which ties into Captain America, and so it's all kind of tied together. So I I don't know. I don't know what that means. I don't know if I like what's happening or what's going on with it.
Sure.
But it seems like it's from what I read, it was like a new kind of mutant or something is going to come out of this, and I don't know. It's weird that, and I think that's probably uh, pres- I I lost the word. Anyway, I think it's tied into Shield's return, maybe. So that's kind of why I wanted to tie that together. So I don't know that
Oh,
for
there you
sure, but
go.
that was kind of the implication that I got in the article that I read.
They're asking how much for the blind bag. I'll look to see if it's on the website. I'm gonna also sneeze, so hold on. I hope you guys enjoyed
That's
that.
fine.
My sneeze. Let me see how much it's costing, if it's on the website or not. It doesn't say in the article, but I'll give you guys the link in the comments if it that way you guys could see for yourselves. But I generally don't know how much that's gonna cost.
There was a
There's the link.
question on
Mhm.
also with the Redcoat. Is it going to be animated or live action?
I'll look on the article too. I don't know if they said. It says feature film adaptation. It doesn't say animated, so I'm guessing it's probably live action. Because
Yeah,
usually when it's animated, they like animated movie. They usually
Right.
kind of have it up front. So I think this
true.
is probably live
And
action.
for a property like that where it's not like mainstream, I going as far as a feature film, I would gather that it would be live action because I don't think a animated one would be billed as that personally. But yeah,
That's true. Yeah.
We do have a question, which I feel like I know the answer for me and Mike. I actually don't know Brant has read this one, but did you read Die? I read like the first issue and then I didn't continue. This
I
Kieran Gillen.
like the original one or the one that came out this week.
I mean, I guess answer both on that one.
Okay, yeah, because the second volume started this week. So Lisa was a huge fan of this. That's my wife. For anybody that doesn't know, she was a huge fan of this book. I liked it. I don't know that I finished it. I read a good amount of it. I don't remember if I finished it though. So, but yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I read same. I read a decent amount of the first volume. I didn't finish it. I did read this one, and we'll talk about it later.
Right.
Just to see if I could get on board with it.
Right.
I remember it was a little too D&D for me, but I liked.
Yeah.
Maybe I read more of the first issue because I do remember the characters pretty well. So I had to read like maybe the first arc. I don't remember going too far into it. It lasted a very long time.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, and it was very D&D because they get pulled into that game and everything. So yeah, totally not your typical thing for sure.
No, I like the art a lot though. I remember really liking the art, and I like the characters. Like it was a good story. It just just I guess wasn't enough for us to continue reading it. But we'll talk about that new first issue later. So let's talk about Bendis. We have Bendis on issue 800 Avengers, and this was again going to be our topic last week. But he kind of alludes to that he's going to be writing more from Marvel, and obviously they're looking for another Avengers writer. Is it going to be Bendis? I am very torn on that because I loved old Bendis. I really enjoyed his Avengers run. I love Ultimate Spider-Man. I liked Naomi in DC. I think that was the only one I really enjoyed from Bendis. Yeah. And then everything else I couldn't really get into. And then I even tried some of his indie books. And something that Bendis is writing, at least currently, I feel like he's just like, I've been doing this forever. I'm just going to do what I want. And sometimes it structurally doesn't make sense. And that's something I don't love about his writing. And I worry that's what we would get, but I obviously would be curious to see, like I'd buy it and see what it's about. But I have an inkling he is going to write Avengers. I don't know what else he would do at Marvel. Like, would they relaunch Ultimate Spider-Man? But then that's like same old at that point.
Yeah. But what is he going to do differently? Like he already wrote his Avengers story. So like, I don't know. I mean, obviously he's going to do something there, right? He's going to get onto some type of series. We just don't know what that is. And I mean, is this Marvel's big comeback? Hey, we got Bendis back, so we're back, baby, you know?
And I don't think that's enough. Like, because I think with Scott Snyder, when he returned, it wasn't just, hey, I'm Scott Snyder, I'm writing one book. It's like, I'm Scott Snyder, I'm going to make you guys a guideline of what the absolute universe is. I'm going to make you guys a guideline of what this DCKO thing is. Like, he took the mantle and he took the helm creatively. So I think that was the difference of like Scott Snyder's back. And then he had his friends over there that, you know, is helping him build this. I think if Bendis is back, it's one title, even if it is good, right? Like that doesn't change the boat for Marvel.
Unless he's the one that relaunches the Ultimate Universe.
Sure. But even so, like the Ultimate Universe was already successful. And that was only one little corner of Marvel that didn't make it feel like Marvel was successful as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. He's done Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate Universe. He's done X-Men. He's done Avengers. I don't know. If he was going to come back like in full force, I would rather him take on something else that they're trying to build up that we haven't seen yet. But I don't know what that would be. Right?
I don't know either, because what hasn't he touched? He was at Marvel for so long. Because again, the reason why I think I liked something like Naomi from him was that it was just really different. It was just like there was no previous story. It's just like, here is this new character.
But didn't Naomi feel like a Marvel character?
Maybe that's why I liked it.
And then he wrote the what was the team book that he did?
It wasn't Young
Legion
Justice,
of Superheroes?
Yeah.
No, he did do Young Justice. He did Young Justice.
Yeah, the Young Justice book.
That was
same
good.
thing with all young characters. And that was good too. And but that is very Marvel-esque, very like light, because he likes writing younger characters. So it's like
he likes YA a lot.
The Marvel to me.
But that's also what he does well. I think it'd be interesting for him to write like a Miss Marvel, but then I'm also like, is he the one to write a Miss Marvel? I don't know. I'm like, does he need to write Miss Marvel?
He needs a title Marvel needs a title that's going to move the needle. It's got to be a high profile, like,
I mean,
it's
maybe
gotta,
Amazing Spider-Man. That's the only thing I can see because he hasn't written
Yeah.
that.
One
Oh,
Yeah.
Spider-Woman, but he already did that too.
Yeah. One comment that you had up earlier, somebody
Mm.
asked how this affects his Dark Horse stuff. I did read something from him personally. I don't remember where it was, but he said that it wouldn't affect Powers at all. I know
And that's
that.
what I would figure too,
Yeah.
just because those are his indie comics. It's not like
Right.
he's making an exclusive deal with Marvel. It sounds like
Right.
he's just picking up a few titles.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. Like again, we keep saying it, but we just want to be excited about Marvel. It's funny because I did the topic for my channel because we didn't end up doing it here, and I had a comment and they're like, "What do you mean Marvel's already really exciting? I love everything." And I'm like, I'm not dogging on Marvel because there's definitely titles I like. Like I'm enjoying Spider-Gwen. Like there's stuff. Obviously, I read some of their stuff, but we have to talk about the overall universe. I don't think it's exciting. I think there's some good titles that we're enjoying, but it's not what DC's level is at right now, where everything feels big and it feels new, and that's what I mean by exciting.
Everything with Marvel is just like, it just seems like it's there and then it ends. Like I think,
even
for
if it is
instance,
good.
This instance, I think we had Eddie Brock Carnage end. You had Red Hulk end. There's other books that are getting ready to end. Like everything ends. You had Hulk just end, and it's going to relaunch, right? Like
Runaways.
everything.
Yeah.
What's that?
Runaways.
Yeah, just everything is a
Mhm.
mini series. There's no like ongoing titles anymore, and it's just I think that's part of it, because it's hard to get into the book knowing that, oh hey, it's going to end in like 5 or 6 issues. You like get one good story, which you would say in a normal run arc, and then that's it.
And then a lot of these I was just gonna say real quick, a lot of these characters you don't know when you're gonna see them again.
Right.
So yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, look at Exceptional X-Men. That's a good example
Yeah.
of a book I really liked and I felt very attached to. And then they like fumbled the ball because they had to do another event. I'm like, oh man, you could tell they rushed this ending, and I was really enjoying it. And yeah, they do that with so many. I think the last time Marvel was exciting was when they were doing those long-term books like Venom with Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman on almost every issue. You had Immortal Hulk, and again, maybe it wasn't for everybody, but like it was exciting. And it was long-running titles. Again, with something like Immortal Hulk, though, it was so long-running that people dropped off of it. So there's this balancing act, too, of like, that's why I love Superman so much. It's been going on for 3 years. I started making my top 10 list for the year already. And every year it keeps going up. I love that. I love that it was literally 3 years ago this book has been out. And it was like number 10, number 5. I'll say it's higher than number 5 this year. And it's like, wow, that's so cool to see a book that's been out for 3 years and it's getting better. When does that happen?
I like, if you have a book that's out for a couple years, okay, fine. Like, I get it. 6 issues, 5 issues, like, come on. You need something out at least a freaking year at this point. At least a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
With them charging $5 a book, they'll keep losing people, which is really interesting because I know how much comics cost a unit price. Marvel's has less than $1, I'm sure of it, to make a comic. Because if you have a very high unit price, which they do, it's cents. So like they're really asking for a lot. And again, everything costs money. They have to get their writers, they have to get the artists, they have to get lettering. But the money's in the trade. Build something good enough. The floppies are for the fans. And then I'm not saying you shouldn't make money in that, but that's not where you're making all your money. You're trying to make it for the book market. So build a really good book so it's really popular in the book market.
Yeah, for sure. It is crazy. It's like, we don't know what all goes into it on their side, but it's obviously feels inflated. And I wish the focus was more on just, making good content. Yeah, good content. Yeah, exactly.
I agree. So that's Bendis. Before we get into comics, I do want to talk about some Kickstarters we have going on. So I am gonna share the screen. We have, if you guys are in the Wicked hype, we do have Witches of Oz, and it is our not safe for work book. So we have it's a mature book where Glinda and the Wicked Witch are finally together. And in this issue, they are in Kansas. So they're in Dorothy's land, and we get to see like a very fish out of water story of them being in Kansas, and we meet some new characters. If you like Wicked, you like the Wizard of Oz, go check that one out. We also do have a book that is not written by me and Phil. We are starting to publish some other people's books. And we have Moloch the Damned, which is a Constantine type book, Hellboy type book, where it's Lucifer's son gets kicked out of hell because he's queer. And we get to see his ragtag team, like this kind of this kind of cartoon character that you might have seen in the 90s. You have like this kind of bigger creature in the back over there, like this mouse character. And we get to see him live his life. And this is written by David Boer. You might recognize him from books that we've talked about a lot. Rain was a book from a couple of years ago with Joe Hill that he co-wrote. Specs is a big book that we talked about here. So if you like David Boer's writing, go check out Moloch. It's just launched. It's a cool book, so check that out. I think we do have. Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is a huge conversation. But do you believe writers and artists will become obsolete because of AI? For example, I enjoy my Vampire Diaries from some app. I think if creators fight hard enough to do what SAG did and what the Writings Guild did. And again, what sucks about comics is that there is no guild for us. There is no union. But, I think that it's people and the consumers having to not buy AI comics or ChatGPT comics because that luckily, I think in this artist world that we live in, I think a lot of people are like, no, we want to read stuff from humans. But I think it starts with the human. Just try not to support AI because that's where we're going to start losing writers and artists if we do so.
Yeah, Jim Lee just gave a speech somewhere. I don't know where it was, but I saw on social media, kind of making DC's stance that they're completely against it and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, it's just I don't think it's going to make them obsolete though, because I think there's enough of us that would prefer that human touch going in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like a lot of people are already against people drawing on a computer. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not against it, but they prefer people drawing on paper than on the computer. You know what I'm saying? So,
just keep supporting creators because that's what's going to help not have us lose our jobs and have AI write stories that are not humane or draw stories that are not humane.
It's never going to be as good either. Let's just
it can't.
It just can't be.
We do have another question, unless there's more AI conversation there.
No.
We do have another question. Have you guys seen Running Man or Predator or Badlands? I haven't seen either yet. I do want to see Running Man because I heard really good stuff, but I haven't seen either of them yet.
No,
I haven't seen them either. Yeah.
So no movies for us yet. Well, I'll be seeing Wicked this week. Other than that, that's all I got for you.
I won't be seeing it until after Thanksgiving, unfortunately.
I mean, at least that's close enough. Not too long of a wait. All right, cool. Let's I think we're gonna get into some comic books.
We gotta do our main topic.
Yeah, the main topic. It's so funny because it is the comic book that came out this week, but also it's our main topic.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about Batman Hush 2. Obviously, is it a fail? Did it fail for you? Why did it fail for you? I mean, there's all kinds of ways that you can name this title, but I think in very many ways, and we started talking about it a little bit before, but in very many ways, this project should have just been released as a miniseries like we talked about before. Then I don't think it would have been as big of a deal in very many ways of when it came out, and it just would be a cool Elseworld story. Instead, you attach it to the main series, and it just feels off. It just makes the whole thing feel off, right?
Well, and also being in universe, like because even if it's a mini series and still in universe, it doesn't make sense because we have this other series out. And also, I kind of do agree with some of the comments. It just feels very plain. It doesn't Hush is hardly in it. Like, why is it called Hush 2? Like, I don't really understand why it needed to happen. I guess
it's really Batman versus the Bat Family, which. Given everything that's happened between them in recent years, makes no sense though. They're past that at this point. So it makes no sense to go back to that time. It's like, and I don't want to speak, I don't want to say, he hasn't read any of the current stuff or anything, but it feels like he's a little out of touch with what's been happening in the main series. So it's like, I don't know, it's just a weird story and a weird time to tell it, I guess.
Well, and it was also weird timing in general because if you guys remember, and to the audience too, that this book came out when the Batman editor team was kind of switching up, and I don't think they knew who was writing Batman.
Right.
And then, who was the last writer of Batman? It wasn't James Tynion. Who was it? Who's the last writer of Batman? Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah.
So he kind of left maybe a little bit more abruptly because he was going back to Marvel. So I think they were just trying to like pick up pieces and they're like, maybe this was something in the can for an issue 1 or 2. It's like, we kind of have this Batman Hush story that we've been waiting for. And I think that's what happened. But it felt very rushed. I think they were just like trying to fill a hole. And it's a shame to use such a powerful story like Hush and tell a sequel that didn't necessarily feel like there was a lot of heart in it.
Yeah.
Like, why would Batman like drug Barbara with a needle?
Yeah.
Like, why would he do that to her? Like, when I read this issue, I was kind of like, what the heck is happening?
Yeah.
Well, with all the character arcs in general, I feel like they're all very out of character.
Yeah, and I mean, like
Riddler.
Right. Yeah, this whole like exosuit and everything. And like Jason even. It's like I know he hates the Joker and everything, but him and Batman have gone through so much to get to a point to where they can coexist. You know what I mean? And to just kind of flip that on its head just out of the blue is just it's weird. I don't know.
So what makes it a failure though? Does it make it a failure because of the story? Does it make it a failure because of the delays? Does it make it, or is it just like all of the above?
Yes.
I think the delays, because I think people would, if I had to pick one, I think it's the delays because like, I think most people would have been like, that wasn't the best, but I was just waiting for the next Batman chapter anyways. I think it's because the next Batman chapter out is like, oh, this feels so null and void at this point.
Right. You've already gone into another volume and then you're like, let me go back to this previous volume and, fill in the gaps here and stuff like that. And yeah, it's the timing definitely hurt it quite a bit, but at the same time, like we've said here, the story beats don't make sense. The characters don't make sense. The timing is off. And was it a needed sequel to have when it's telling basically the same story that it told the first time around? Not much has changed. Yeah.
Also, I felt like Jim Lee's art is good, but I thought the coloring made it really doesn't make the pencil shine very much. Like Jim Lee's a great artist. It's very dark. It's not his. I don't know if it's not Jim Lee's best work. It's kind of hard to tell, but the coloring kind of makes it very muddy. And like even the art, I'm just like, yeah, it's Jim Lee, but it's not like when you guys pick up Geiger or something, I'm like, that's like, whoa. Or even Skin Breakers. Like you're like, whoa, okay, like I might not love this story, but I can appreciate the art and people liking the art. But this, I'm like, oh, it's fine. Like I think it's good, but it's not Jim Lee's like ultimate best work. And again, I don't know if it's his pencils or it's because of the coloring. I do think it's the coloring. It's just like it feels very muddy to me. Or the inks, yeah.
I think it's his usual inker though. I think it's probably the coloring just because it feels a little darker. But then again, it's it's late, so it was probably I don't know if he rushed or not. He's a very busy man, so who knows?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just one of those things where I think I agree with you guys. I think it's the delay. And Kat, what was the first issue released? Because we were talking about
we were looking at it. Batman League of Geeks. Let's see. So the issue 6. I feel like it was a while ago. I am actually very curious. It's so hard to find out which volume to look up though. So
I think if you look on League of Comic Geeks,
I found it. Yeah.
Okay.
It was March 26th.
March.
And the last issue looks like it's gonna be January 28th, so it's almost a year. It's like minus 2 months.
How many parts?
6. So it took about double the time for it to come out.
Yeah.
That's what it says right now though.
Right.
No, exactly. We don't know how delayed that last part will be. Right now it says January.
Yeah. So I guess it's safe to say that though, when it comes to Jim Lee doing projects, He should not do them anymore. It
He
just
should just do a nice variant cover.
yeah, do a nice variant cover or whatever it is. Because again, this is Superman Unchained all over again. And we got frustrated with that as well.
The only way he should do it is if it's completely done before they go to print.
Yeah, and what Mike was saying is that we all thought this was, and then I guess we obviously found out it wasn't.
Well, maybe his pencils were, but the inks or the colors weren't or something. I don't know.
And the book wasn't written and everything else that went in that.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, baby, I'm ahead of schedule. And then it's like,
I'm the biggest Jim Lee stan, but yeah, I agree with you guys. If it's not like completely in the books, done, sitting on a shelf, ready to just ship out, maybe not do it.
Yeah, and it's a lot of pressure too, because like this was a book that was like one of their bigger books of the year, and it's just like I couldn't imagine. Again, he's like Tyler Durden said, like he's running a company and he's drawing like a huge book. It's just it feels a little unrealistic. Yeah, and it's a lot. So it's a shame. Luckily, and I don't know where you guys stand. I like Hush enough, but it's not like my favorite Batman story in the world, so I'm not like devastated. But I can only imagine if you're like a huge Hush fan, you read this.
I would have. You know what I would love to see. We talked about how maybe it should have just been a mini series. Why not just make it a trade? Just
like a graphic novel.
Should have just made it all. Just take your time, make it a trade. Call it Hush 2, put it on the shelf just like that. I think that would have probably been better.
And I think the Wednesday Warriors would have gotten it because they would have saw Batman Hush too and like, oh, I want that. Like, I think sometimes it's hard to sell on them, but I think they would. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They would for sure. And you know what you could have even done? Made variant covers for the trade. You could have even done that too.
That's true. Get some hard covers, get some soft covers. I think that would be smart. And I think DC could do it. I think it's always hard when it's a little greedy, right? Like if you do the floppies and you're making money on it, you make money on the floppies. Then if you sell it as graphic novel, people are going to buy the graphic novels. So they're obviously going to make more money this way. But also DC, did they need to? I don't know. I mean, obviously, I guess every business needs to make money, but I feel like they probably lost a lot of people along the way. So I don't know how much money they made in the end with these floppies. Yeah. Although we're all picking it up, weren't we? I don't think either.
I think I'm kind of picking it up because I just want to complete the run.
Yeah. Because at a certain point, and I want to say the Batman volume came out after like issue 4 or something. So at that point, you're like, oh, I'm only like 2 issues away or 3 issues away from completing it.
Right.
How many issues does that have left? It's just 1. So you guys are on the ride and finish it up, I guess.
Yeah. You just might have to wait 4 months for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next year we'll have the same conversation. Yeah. Like, hey guys, we're still waiting for that last issue.
It'll be like March, like Easter.
Oh my god.
It's the same topic, actually. Yeah. We'll just have the same topic video for next year.
The issue itself, though, just was, again, it was all over the place. I didn't even know what the hell was going on. I don't even know what happened at the end. I don't even remember because I'm just kind of like, all as I know is the Bat family's pissed off at him.
I want to say it was like Joker showed up or something.
Yeah, Joker showed up. Batman protected them from getting blown up, and then Joker had a gun to his head. I think
this is a Hush book, and Joker shows up. Another thing I felt frustrated with is like the storytelling for the character arcs felt so stale. Like again, Barbara's story is like she was shot during the killing joke. I'm like, I've heard before. I think we've explored this story, and there's other stories that do it really well. Again, if you want to read a story about the Oracle transition and going back to Batgirl, read Gail Simone's run. Does a great job with the PTSD stuff. Like I don't think we need a reminder here and just like a half drawn out story about it.
Again, it feels like he doesn't know that all this stuff has been resolved. That's what it felt like reading this.
For over a decade.
Yeah.
It hasn't been like a year ago.
Right. What about the Catwoman and Bruce interaction when she's like, you're acting like a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
He's like, well, they started it.
I know. It's like, really? Batman's going to say that? Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk about Brant and I. We read Transformers issue 26. As this is a story that kind of dives a little bit into the past because we had Thundercracker kind of betray his fellow Decepticons because the Autobots promised to release Skywarp from Teletran 1, and they were successful at doing that. And this was a really good character piece about Optimus Prime on how loyal he is to Cybertronians, not just the Autobots themselves. And I thought that was actually kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah, that was cool. And they actually, what happened with Thundercracker was really nice. Even though Skywarp, he doesn't have any memories of this, and he wakes up and he's surrounded by Autobots and goes all Decepticon on them. They changed Thundercracker's mind, which I thought was really cool. It really great character work there. And honestly, this issue felt like he was picking up notes from Daniel Warren Johnson's run. It felt very familiar to DWJ's writing in this issue. We had Carly back in it, and there was some. It was a small scene, but there was a little character work with her that felt, reminiscent of that first arc and everything. So yeah, this was a really solid issue of the book, and I, like you said, the character work was really top notch.
Yeah, I liked it too. And then you got more little tidbits on Miles Mayhem, as now he has the information on how to transform.
Yes, which is going to lead into how their vehicles work, which is so cool how they're connecting that. I'm so excited about that. And
it's
then
only a matter of time as he gets his freaking helicopter, and then you get Mask, and now it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, and then something happened to Megatron at the end. He grabs his head and starts like screaming or something.
He's experiencing the same thing that Optimus had.
Oh yeah,
that's what it looked like.
Okay, yeah,
because he got his arm back.
Oh, so it wasn't just that the arm was because it was a Decepticon arm. There's something wrong with the arm.
There's something wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That's a good guess. Yeah, I didn't even put that together, but yeah, that makes sense.
So we'll see, but another solid book.
Yeah.
All right, and then we move on to Venom issue 251. As we get Venom now no longer in black, but he is in the red and blue, which I didn't know that symbiotes can change color like that.
I didn't either.
Only Mary Jane. Only Mary Jane could do it. I like this issue. I'm just having fun with it. I'll say the thing I didn't love about this issue is honestly Luke Cage. I was like, oh no, just go back to Venom and MJ. Like I care so much more about that. I think that the Luke Cage stuff will go somewhere someday. I don't know if it really affected this issue as much. But I like it. I think it's a fun series. And I always say this, if you liked the beginning, you'll continue to like the series. If you didn't, don't read it because you're not going to like the tone. But I've enjoyed the tone.
I didn't mind the Luke Cage stuff, but I get what you're saying. I focus on Mary Jane and all that stuff. But I thought it fit. It went back to that first arc where he's still stuck in trying to figure it out, which I thought was a fun little nod to, where the series started. But yeah, no, this was just a fun issue. Disguising himself as Iron Man on roller skates was just hilarious. And
remembering MJ was with Iron Man.
Gold Iron Man out of all things, too.
Yeah. That was kind of cool. It was a lot of throwbacks in this issue. So, yeah, just a fun time. I love this series. Never thought I would say that.
Right.
I would go with Cat. Like, I like this issue as well. But I would go with Cat. Like I could care less about the Mayor Cage thing because we're backtracking on who is Venom, and like as a reader, you already know that. So it's like I don't want to reread him still guessing. I get why they did it, right?
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of pages too. I think that was my concern. It wasn't like 3 pages. It was like 1/3 of the book where he was talking about it.
True, I get that.
And then I did like the message at the end. It's like, oh, who are we going to be that people are not going to fear us, right? Oh, we're going to be the hero that we know that everybody loves. And it's obviously Spider-Man. Yeah. So now you get Spider-Venom, basically.
Yeah, just with a giant tongue.
Yeah, right. And a little muscular. But something I also want to commend this book for, and it really shows like, and this is one of the titles I'm talking about where like, oh, these are books I'm enjoying for Marvel, and every month I can rely on it. But the reason being is the art is always really freaking consistent for this book. And that is why it's good. Like it's because the art is really strong as well.
Yeah, the art, the coloring is really good. Just every bit of this book is just good.
Who does this one? Is it Carlos Gomez or Paco Mandina? Who is it?
I think it's Paco Medina.
Yeah, who's obviously been at Marvel it is Paco, who's been at
Yeah.
Marvel for a very long time. And I'm glad that they're putting a flagship amount of work towards a character like MJ. I think that's also feels really cool. Like also a female driven superhero. I think that's important. I thought it was Rec Rap. No Rec Rap, luckily.
Definitely similar.
See why you would think that, though.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So yeah, there's the Venom talk. So yeah, we'll see how that story continues.
Oh, I wonder. Wait 1 second. I wonder if this is a nod to our Transformer talk with Mask.
Oh, it says you're gonna love the new G.I. Joe issue. Oh, that's gonna be cool. All
Thanks for the teaser there.
Yep. Now you got me more excited to read that book tomorrow. All right, so let's move on. Let's go to our number 5. And Kat, what was your number 5 this week?
Mine was Supergirl issue 7. It was a Thanksgiving issue. And again, this book does a really good job at feeling like a Silver Age book, but also having a modern twist. And I really like the character work. We get to see this character who's been a villain deal with this idea, what's Thanksgiving? Why should I be thankful for life? And see it through Lena's eyes too, where Lena's like, oh, I don't really like Thanksgiving. My dad's like Lex Luthor, so why would I like it? And we just get to see them interact with Superman, like the girl that's used to be the villain. She doesn't like Superman. She's like, Kara's a lot better than you because you didn't treat her very well. You threw her in an orphanage when she was younger. And I don't know, it's just a really fun book. The reason why it's a little lower though is I didn't like the shark stuff. Like Supergirl, I thought didn't have as much to do compared to her. Compared to the supporting characters.
That's why I didn't make my top 5 either, because of the Princess Shark. I was like, this is like too silly. And I like the other family dynamic aspect of it, with Leslar, that's her name.
Leslar.
As like, again, her interacting with Clark and saying all those things. So that's what I liked about it too. So again, continues to be the guilty pleasure book for me.
It's a really good under the radar book. If you guys are looking to add something and you've been reading comics for a very long time, I do recommend it. I think every issue is really consistent.
Yep, absolutely. All right, Brent, what do you got for your number 5?
I'm torn between Redcoat and Die Loaded. But I think I'll edge it to Die Loaded just because Redcoat was a lot of setup for this new arc. It was always a solid story, but not much happened in it, so I'll go to Die Loaded, which we kind of referenced earlier in the show. And to be fair, I had to speed read this. I was trying to speed read it while we're talking, so forgive me if I don't remember everything in the book. But there was, from what I could gather, there was a lot of good character work, especially at the funeral at the beginning of this story, kind of catching up what happened between when they came out of the game. They came into COVID and had to deal with all that, and had to have this memorial for their friend and all this stuff. And then another person gets pulled into the game by the end and all that stuff. And we started all over again. So I don't know. And the art is absolutely gorgeous in this book. I do love that. The same
artist, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I believe so. Right, Mike?
Yeah, I think it was. It
was. It's really beautiful art.
I like this book.
Not quite top 5 though.
No.
Gotcha.
It's just one of those things where there was a lot going on. And if you don't remember the first volume, it was kind of hard to get to know like who the characters were, this person that died. And you're just like, there's just a lot. Right. And so I was trying to get it all down, trying to comprehend it. And then all of a sudden you wind up getting to the point where, the main character's name is what? Ash, right? I think his name was. And then is it his wife? Is it his wife?
It's his wife, yeah.
Yeah. Winds up getting transported to the place that they were.
Right.
And then you wind up seeing her like select her avatar and her abilities and everything else like that, which is really cool. And then she ran into somebody at the end and I couldn't get who that person was.
Yeah, that was my disconnect too. And again, I was trying to read it while we are talking and stuff. So I couldn't remember who that person was or if we had seen them before or not. I did remember the guy that died. And I think that's what kind of edged it up a little bit for me. Because I was like, oh, when I started reading, I was like, oh yeah, I do remember that. So there was a little bit of connect there. But some of the characters I had a hard time remembering.
And it was his gift to the wife
Right.
that made her transport to the other place.
Yeah, and like he was
He opened up
yelling
the
at her
dice.
yeah, he was yelling at her to drop it, and obviously she didn't and got pulled in.
So because of this issue, I ordered a hardcover from my
That's
comic
cool.
shop.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
so I could catch up on it.
Right. Yeah. That's cool.
That's what's great about those volume twos, man. It gives you opportunity to jump in. We
Yeah.
do have a super chat here. Does every author, and thank you for the super chat, does every author and artist deserve to be praised and pat on the back for creating and sharing? Or is criticism fair, whether good or bad? I always say this, and we've been doing, we've been doing the criticism of comics for a very long time, and I work professionally as a comic book creator and make my living as a comic book creator. So being on two sides, I am always okay as a creator if someone wants to give me valid criticism. I think there's dogpiling criticism that is out there that is not great. And there's, I think even on the flip side where people are just like 5 stars to everything, and that's also not great because then it's like, well, what's the truth? So I think there's a middle ground of like being a decent human and talking about a comic and not being like, well, this shit sucks and then burn it in a fire. No, you shouldn't do that to anything. So like, I think that it's a middle ground. Like you should give especially if you love a book. I will say if you love a book, an author loves hearing that because they have poured their heart and soul to it. So tell them the reason why you love it. And maybe don't tag them if you have nice things to say, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Don't tag people if it's negative. That's terrible. That's rude. I've done both sides of it too, journalism and creating, and I think it's an important part of the whole ecosystem, because whether good or bad, criticism, as long, like Kat said, as it's valid, as it's thoughtful, as it's, critical but not hurtful, it also helps spread the word. It's part of the whole thing. It gets the word out there about the comic. Sometimes a negative review will actually sway somebody, oh, I got to go check it out. You know what I mean? So I think it's an important and fair part of the whole process. Again, as you stay cordial, as you stay respectful, just blind hate is just not, there's no place for that in my opinion.
It's not it, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing I definitely discourage. It's just like,
Right.
if you don't like something, then just don't read it.
If
it's not your thing.
Like, I know we bagged real quick, Mike. I know we
Yeah.
bagged on Batman Hush, and it's like we try to point out positives where we can when we criticize something, and we try to say how it could have been better or how could it, and we don't try to be hateful. Sometimes we're disappointed with the way a story turns out, so our emotions kind of take over a little bit. But
I also think there's a difference between saying, "Oh, I didn't like this, and this could have been stronger," than like, "Oh, this is absolute dog shit. Why would you release that?" Like, there's a very big difference between those two things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like I said, I was going to say the same thing. The number one thing is being respectful. Like, I don't write comics, you know what I'm saying? But I do review a ton of comics, and there's a way to present that review instead of just saying all these hurtful things, because you guys got to remember, like, these people write these comics. This is what they do for a living. So whether you like it or not, just at least be respectful. It's just like that. Again, that's what they do for their living. And you don't have to like it, and that's totally fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. There's no right or wrong. Just don't disrespect somebody. And if you don't like it, then just don't read it. You know what I'm saying? That's the way to do it. I mean, we all are not huge fans of the Amazing Spider-Man, right? We all know that in this show. Even the viewers know that for sure, right? But we still like to talk about it, whether it is good or bad, right? And seeing what can be better with the story.
And we say that with Amazing Spider-Man, like when there's like an inch of something that's kind of interesting, we're like, "Whoa, that was cool!" That Norman Osborn's doing something. We try to be like excited about it because we're like, "Oh, that's something that could be interesting."
We love Spider-Man.
Exactly. So, no, it's a good question. Honestly, to go full circle, and Brent, you weren't here for this, but that's why I saw a couple of comments saying like, "Oh, I would never like this thing because how could I?" And I said, I think you always come into something predetermined and you always have baggage, but that doesn't mean you could change, like something won't change your mind. Or you, it's just try to go in as open-minded as you can, knowing obviously we all carry biases as we go into something.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, that's human nature.
All right. Well, now I'm going to go into my number 5, and my number 5 was actually Conan the Barbarian. It's just a really well told story. It's just the way Jim Zub writes Conan is what makes it so awesome, and the artwork is so good. And this is a story about Conan the Barbarian now no longer just being a Conan. He's your barbarian. He's basically a sword for hire in this kingdom, and the general of the army winds up dying, and he takes the general's place. So now he's actually gaining rank within this kingdom. And I think what this is going to lead to is him becoming the king.
Yeah,
So I
King
think
Conan
that's what
King.
it's going to do.
That's cool.
So yeah, really awesome book, man.
I'm glad you're enjoying that.
Yeah, I'm glad that the others out there, let me know that this book was that well done, All right. So now let's go to Brant and I. We talked about Redcoat. So we're on issue 15 with this one. Like you said, there wasn't a lot that happened. This kicks off a new story arc, but this was so good because this goes into 1909. Simon is just like a normal guy. He's married, he's got kids and everything else. And it's kind of like, oh, wow, like that's really cool that everything's working out for him. And then a visitor, and then it's a visitor from his past, and it looks like everything is going to change once again. I'm like, man, I can't wait for the next issue of this to see what's going to happen.
That was the thing. Yeah. Again, next issue is going to, be crazy. But yeah, it was. I love the story of this issue where he does have that family life. He's, kind of put all that behind him. He's hung up the red coat and all that kind of stuff. And then, like you said, it breaks apart at the end. It's like, okay, here we go. So, yeah.
And the touching thing is like he was talking to that person.
Yeah.
And he was concerned about him, him not aging and then him outliving his family.
Right.
So, and he's like, right now I have plenty of time, but he's like, sooner or later it's going to happen.
Yeah. And he's trying to find a way to like end the curse. Yeah.
Right. So really good book there.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about Batman Static Beyond issue 1. This was one of those books that, again, you talk about prejudgment.
Yeah.
And I think this was the book that the person was talking about on my channel, saying, oh, you went into it judgment. So how were you going to like it? And I disliked this book tremendously because
who wrote it?
I don't remember.
Oh, I don't remember now.
I don't know if this is like, is it continuing stuff they've done
in
in the past?
Story. It's the people that did that universe.
Oh,
that
okay. So they've been
universe.
Beyond.
Or
okay, so it's like part of that. Okay.
It's Static's universe, I think, who wrote it.
Gotcha.
I'm trying to look it up because I don't have it in front of me.
Oh,
you're looking up too? Okay.
Yeah, it's Evan Narcius, and he has said he did Rise of Black Panther, Batman Gotham Knights, so he seems to be a newer writer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was just the way this book opened up. It just overwhelmed you with a lot of dialogue and it takes place in like space. So like when you're in space and you're naming all these systems and different races and all these different things, and there's these big explosions and there's all this stuff happening. I was like, whoa. Like what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? And then it takes you to I was almost going to say Miles Morales, but Terry McGinnis's time, and then it got a little bit better from there. But honestly, I just could not get into this book. I tried 3 different times, and I found myself going, man, I just don't care about this book, and I couldn't tell you really what it is. It's just I couldn't get into this story at all.
I would disagree with that comment you just flashed up there.
I was curious about that.
Yeah,
I think all of us like Static. the television show was
and
really
Batman
well.
Beyond. Mike,
Yeah.
I know Mike and I
Yeah,
like
you guys
No,
did,
I
yeah.
love Batman Beyond.
Yeah,
Huge fan. I watch that series every freaking day.
yeah, and I love Static as well. So
Mm.
yeah, I don't think that's really true because I always have a hard time getting into this the more current Static and Batman Beyond books for some
Because they're
reason.
so different from
Yeah.
what they were, at least for Static.
Yeah, and there's just some kind of disconnect. And in this book in particular, Static is aged up,
Yeah.
and so it's even more different. And so it's like, and then you start off in space and all this stuff. Now, I didn't dislike it as much as you did, Mike, but at the same time, it wasn't. I don't know that I would pick up a second issue of it. I thought the art looked really good. I like the
I like
characters
the
in it.
art.
Yeah, I like the characters in it, but I don't know. I was a little lost on what was going on here and there, and the jumps between the two places was a little weird and a little jarring. It felt like you were telling one story and then all of a sudden you're telling another story completely different that
Right.
doesn't seem to be related but is. And it was very confusing to me in a way. So
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
you read
So I
it,
was
Kat?
a little bit
No,
disappointed.
I haven't
It-
liked any of the Beyond books. So I was
Yeah.
I love Static, but I also
I-
haven't liked a lot of the Static books. So I was
Right.
like, I'll skip this one.
Yeah, I usually skip them too, but I for whatever reason I picked this one up and it's like
I don't think I like the other characters in there. I think wasn't
Mm.
there an older Superman in there, and
yeah.
like an Icon was in there, or
Yeah,
something
Icon
like
was
that.
in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
No,
which
just-
I didn't read any of the Icon stuff, so I didn't know much about that character. Superman seemed a little off to me. He was a little
Is
bit more.
Milestone still going on? Is this like a into that series? I don't think it is. Like I
I
think
don't
they
think it is either. I think it
Yeah.
ended. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not
So I
positive.
don't know. So it was disappointing. So unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, let's go on to Iron and Frost issue 2. I'm gonna say my piece with this, and then I'm gonna get some water. I'm losing my voice here.
You and Brent, we won't have people
Yeah.
with voices.
Yeah, it's just me with talking all day between
Oh.
doing videos and 5 hours of tennis and then going on to the show. So
You should have heard me this afternoon. I could barely speak at all. So, yeah.
So when it comes to this book was actually good. I liked it. You had a situation happen with Rhodey. His suit got compromised, so he was getting that mutant virus. You saw what happened to Tony. Kind of the same thing happened. His suit got compromised and became like this robot. We get to see him, and you see Emma trying to connect with him to see if there's something there that's human, right? And it was a quite interesting issue there. And the ending kind of threw me for a loop. I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe they went there with that. Like, he literally destroyed like his best friend. At least that's what you think anyway.
Yeah.
This is the only Revelations book I could actually say I really like, because every other one, like there's like 2 other ones that I'm picking up just because like, oh, Kitty's in it, so I'll get that. I want to say that's the only one actually. I think I'm getting the Kitty book and this, and this is the only one that's actually really kept my attention because it feels like it's coming from obviously the previous stories they've had already. The art is solid. Again, it's the same writer as that Gwenpool book that I really liked.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's a story here and it feels necessary. And I also enjoy it. It just missed my top 5. It's my number 6, but it's the only Revelation. If you only pick up one of them, just pick this. That's all you need.
I'm still gonna read Omega Kids just because I really like the way that
You like that one, yeah.
first issue ended. Yeah. I don't know which ones. I forget how many there are. There's not a lot that
So
I'm
many.
reading either, but
I even dropped the Laura one. I got issue 2 and I said, I do not like this art and I cannot read the next
Really?
issue.
Wow.
I don't want to read the next issue.
don't
I
even
didn't
want to
like
finish
it.
it. No.
No, I really didn't like
That's
it.
funny. For Iron and Frost, I actually didn't think it was as good as the first issue. I was a little bit disappointed.
That's understandable.
But I still like the character stuff. I like, that Tony is kind of, the change that happened to him. That he's kind of going back and forth, but at the same time, that was like, oh, just pick one. I was like, pick a side. No, but no, I don't know. This is overall, it's a good book, and I do appreciate the callback to the Emma and Tony stuff. That's what I was excited about at the beginning. and we still get that. She's come to him to fix herself, and the tragedy, the irony of that is, he's broken now, and he can't do anything to help her. So they're both kind of screwed. So yeah, it's a kind of a I don't know, poetic book in that way. So
even though it's not going to mean anything at all,
right?
No.
Yeah,
yeah.
But if you're
at
gonna
least
do
it's
these
interesting.
miniseries, if you're gonna do these miniseries, make it interesting in the moment, even if it doesn't affect
right.
anything. Like that Emma Frost miniseries, it's not gonna affect anything.
Yeah.
But in the moment, you're having a good time reading it, and it feels complete enough.
Right.
All right, sounds pretty good. So we talked about those three. So we move on to our number 4. What do you got, Kat, for your number 4?
Mine is Strange Tales issue 2. I did not think this was as strong as issue 1 because they changed the characters. Like now it's like focused on Gwen, but I like the Gwen moments. I enjoyed seeing her be actually a ghost and try to interact with Scarlet Witch and Nico. So I had a fun time with it. Again, if you like these set of characters, you will like this series. It is fun. But if you do not like the Runaways and YA type storytelling, this is not something you have to pick up.
Yeah, I personally love the YA stuff, and I love these characters. So, but yeah, no, I agree with you. It wasn't quite as strong as the first issue. It's another one of those crossover things, right? Like they do the I don't know, like they have 3 or 4 parts and they focus on different characters each issue and everything, but it's still tied into the first issue, which I appreciated. I was a little worried when they were going to switch characters that was just going to completely change the story, but I appreciate that. It's a thread that you can follow. But yeah, I like Spider-Gwen too. It was still a fun time. Looking forward to the next one. And yeah, that's really all I got to say about that, I guess.
Awesome. Okay. So where are we at? Branch, your number 4?
Yeah, number 4, sorry. Ultimate Wolverine issue, what is it, 11, I think?
Yeah.
There's only one more issue left, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, after what happened in this issue, that's not surprising. Basically, it seems that a bunch of people just not really died, but more or less died. You know what I mean?
No, it looks like it.
Yeah. There was the Rasputins, Ileana and Colossus. They dropped a psychic bomb on all of the X-Men characters and basically wiped their minds. So yeah, it's and Wolverine. It was an interesting story because you have Wolverine, kind of a what's the word? Kind of skeptical of Mikhail, kind of bragging about their victories and stuff, and knowing that the other shoe's going to drop, and then as he's literally thinking this, the bomb drops, and he's kind of left to pick up the pieces of what was the actual X-Men of the Ultimate Universe. Which was, very emotional and took a toll on him, obviously. So really strong storytelling in that aspect. But at the same time, you could see the writing on the wall. It's like, oh man, this is the end. And kind of sad there because it's a really good book. So
it is a good book. It's like everything you wanted in an Ultimate X-Men title.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So really good. My number 4 was actually Redcoat. So when we talked about that one. All right, so let's move on now. We're going to talk about the Fantastic Four. This is issue 5. Really well done. If you tell a one-shot story, this was done beautifully. Really well done. It wasn't in my top 5, but it still was a good story with Felicia being framed for robbing this bank. And we had this Joe Schmo who picks up this gun from Kane, right? And it puts him what was it, back in time, like 10 minutes or 15 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
So he could do his whole setup and everything. But it's not even that. It was just like the interactions between Felicia and Sue, I thought was really nice. And then also Sue hanging out with Alicia, trying to figure out if Felicia was innocent or guilty, if she was going to help her out. And then they wound up becoming all besties and wound up going on a trip at the end of it all as the boys came back. And overall, it was a fun issue.
This series has really surprised me because I don't usually like one-off storytelling. It usually is a little boring. You're like, oh, one issue is great, and the next is not. But this series, every single issue has been really solid, and they're all pretty one-off. It's like, oh, here's Alicia, here's what Sue's up to. Let's see Black Cat.
You know what this
And-
kind of reminds you of? It kind of reminds you of like old school Fantastic Four, like how
yeah,
comics used to be, telling stories like this.
I 100% agree, and I think that's what works about it. It's just like it feels fun. It's a palate cleanser. It doesn't feel bigger than itself, and sometimes you need that. Roberto Ramos's art works really well with this story, but I agree with everything you said. Like Alicia was fun in this. Black Cat was fun. I like how they became friends, and I actually like Sue because Sue's always like the good girl, right? She's always like thinking, before she speaks, and it's kind of interesting to see that she did have this predetermined thought about Black Cat, and then she's like, Alicia's like, you have to give her a chance. I thought that was an interesting interaction.
I love that how Alicia used her own logic against her to prove the point and stuff. It was just really well written, and the character work was top notch, and I love that too. Like she's on the fence whether she helps or not. She knows the history, with both Johnny and Spidey and all that kind of stuff, and it's just, and it comes full circle where they go on the girls' weekend, and the guys are just left like, what?
Exactly.
It was a really good issue, and I agree with you, Kat. It's like I don't typically like one and done stories either, but there's just something about this book that just, like you said it perfectly. It's a palate cleanser. It's fun. It's light. You can just pick this up on a random issue, enjoy it. Yeah, go ahead.
It's perfect, like point A, point B story.
Absolutely.
It's perfect.
If you've never read a comic before, I actually really recommend people read this series because it is a very easy, like new reader friendly book as well.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so let's go on to Green Lantern Corps issue 10. This was one of those books where it's like, oh, you can tell that like Jeremy Adams is like,
well, he's
no
done.
longer on it at all.
Well, this is his first issue. I think he's off it. He was co-writing before, and this is his first issue off of it. Yeah.
And so, like, you can see there's a lot of moving pieces in it, which I don't have a problem with Core. Like, I don't have it because you usually have it, but it's the way all these different things that were going on were presented. You got this thing with all of a sudden you got John Stewart now who's alive, who says, oh, I'm going to retire, but I'll do this one more mission. You got all this other like political stuff going on because all the lanterns are on Oa now. At the same time, you got some random like goo thing that sucks in one of the lanterns, and you're like, okay, what is that about? Like, there's just a lot of like weird moving pieces going on, and I'm not sure where we're going with this now.
Right. Yeah.
I honestly gonna drop this book because I feel the same way, and I don't like John Stewart's not my favorite Green Lantern. I like the other ones, but they don't really seem that focused in the series. And I have the other Green Lantern book that I'm really enjoying, and it doesn't feel like this is going to connect as much as it did.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I might take a little break from this one because it's never been my favorite, honestly.
This is it definitely felt like, okay, we're done with the crossover stuff. Now we're going to go in our own direction with that's definitely what it felt like. I agree that there was a lot of moving pieces, like you said, Mike. There was a lot going on. There was a lot of threads to follow.
A lot of characters.
If you didn't know what had gone on with John Stewart before, you might have been completely lost as to where he came from, why he was there, that kind of stuff.
And that was in Green Lantern, I want to say. It wasn't even in Core that all happened to him. So
I believe so, yeah. And so I didn't hate it, but at the same time, I'm kind of on the fence. It's like one of those on the bubble titles for me too now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see what the next issue holds, but just it definitely a departure from what we had. I want to like this book a lot, but again, I don't know where we're headed either. So it's like, I don't know.
Like I want to continue to read it because it's the only place where I get Kyle Rayner.
Yeah.
And he is my favorite. Like, believe it or not, he is my favorite Green Lantern.
Yeah, mine too. Always has.
That's understandable because I know you guys really love Kyle. Hal's always been my favorite, so that's why I'm like, oh, I'll just read that because I like Hal. But it's tough, and it's tough because we'll talk about this when we go to most anticipated. But there's so many books out all the time. Like I was telling this to Mike Brandt. I really wanted to try out the book, the Guy in the Chair book you had. Yeah. And I'm looking at my list, and I'm like, I have 20 books, and I have to read the issue 1 if I do that. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know if I could cut it, even though like it looks like a really cool book. I'm like, there's just too many books coming out that I'm already picking up, you know?
Yeah. just get it in trade later if it's
Yeah.
ends well.
And if
Yeah.
you say issue 2 is
Right.
crazy, maybe I'll be able to pick up issue
Right.
3 and it won't be as crazy of a week. But that's the
Yeah.
point. Like sometimes you got to make cuts with like a
Right.
Green Lantern Corps where I'm like, I already have Green Lantern. I don't know if I
Yeah.
need
Right.
this.
Oh,
You know?
totally. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
No, absolutely. You have to do that. I was gonna say something else. I lost it. If it comes back to me, I'll let you all know. But it was something about what you were saying. I just totally lost it. But yeah.
We're talking about dropping books and we were talking about Kyle Rayner being in
Oh,
this
Kyle Rayner. Yeah,
house,
that was where I was going.
Mm.
And somebody asked who our favorite Green Lantern was anyway. For me, and I think it was the same for Mike. I didn't read a whole lot of DC, back then. And what I did pick up, it was Green Lantern or Flash, and it was Wally and Kyle at the time when I got into those books at all. So yeah, those were the characters that I followed. So,
Yeah, honestly, the only thing I followed was Green Lantern,
yeah,
Kyle Rayner. That's it, and a few random Batman books. But
right.
when it comes to DC, period, I read nothing. Like nothing.
Right. Yeah. That was the same for me, but I would get like a random Flash book in the 3-pack or something like that. So it was Wally West, and I was like, oh, he's cool. So that's
right.
This is a wild comment from Tevia. There's nothing to look forward to tomorrow. There's so many books. And again, like there's like a fifth Wednesday where I'll be like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's like 5 books, but there's so many books.
Oh man, there's
out
so many
tomorrow.
books. So many good books.
Yeah.
I was
anyway.
telling Kat Brandt that
Yeah.
my comic shop actually closed 2 hours early today to set up all the new books.
So many books, yeah.
There's so many.
Crazy.
And that's including because of Batman or Deadpool and Batman,
right?
With all the variant covers. So they got rearranged stuff in their store just to fit all those different variants and stuff.
I totally forgot the crossover comes out tomorrow too. Like obviously, like you read the first part, we know it's an anthology, so that takes a little bit more of the excitement out. But still, like that's still coming out, and that's like.
But it's from the DC
exciting.
side, so it's like okay, maybe it'll be
probably gonna be a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's move on. We got Blue Falcon and Dynamite issue 3. So let me tell you that this book is good, man. I like it. It's very enjoyable. In this issue, you wind up getting Dynamite in here, and you get to see full effect of him. And he's just much more intense in this book. I mean, he's got missiles coming out of his mouth and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's totally crazy. And you find out that the new enemy that's in this book is actually Blue Falcon's girlfriend.
Yeah.
Which is the Beast Woman. You find that out. And I was like, okay, I didn't actually see that coming, believe it or not.
I did see it coming.
Did you?
Yeah, just as soon as she was like, is he dead? When she was talking to the crony or whatever, I was like, oh, this is going to be somebody he knows. And I'd forgotten who his girlfriend was. But when she popped up, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's. Yeah,
she wanted the utility belt and she stole it at the end.
Yeah. So, yeah, I did pick that up. But, yeah. No, it is a really good book. And for me, it took the second issue to really turn it around for me. Again, the first issue was like, it was good, but it didn't do it for me. But that second issue really blew me away. And then this issue, when we get Dynamite finally, and I was a little hesitant because I thought they were going to go the goofy route, but they totally went a different direction with him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't too dark. It was just a perfect balance between like the two versions of the character. And yeah, it was crazy to see him like, main priority, protect, Blue Falcon and, got to make sure his vitals are okay. Okay, now I can shoot some missiles at these guys. And it was just, crazy time in this issue. But I can't wait to see next issue when they're together.
Yeah. And I think that's what this series does. It kind of like balances out some seriousness, some dark tones, and then there's probably going to be a little bit of humor in there at the same time,
Mm-hmm.
But I like it. It's definitely a good surprise. Like, again, my expectation when I first got this book was like the first issue was, I really don't think this is going to be all that great. I think it could be cheesy.
Yeah.
It's Blue Falcon and Dynamite. Like, how good could it really be? Right? Read it, and I'm really enjoying it. Right?
Yeah.
So, again.
Just like Space Ghost. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to number 3. I'll go first here for my number 3 this time. My number 3 was actually Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees the Rite of Spring. My gosh, man, this book is so flipping good. I mean, you got this female duck that's getting closer to figuring out who murdered her brother. Obviously, it's Samantha the bear, and Samantha is right by her side going, you go in this particular house and you can find something that's going to lead to your brother's death. And she acts as this like house inspector, and she says, yeah, I'm going to, check out the value of your house. And she finds this thing that she was looking for. And the family's like, you were going to plant something in our house. And then the freaking dad that comes out there, like comes up the stairs and says, what's wrong, honey? And he winds up freaking falling down the stairs, and she commits a murder. And oh my God, it's just all this chaos and everything that's going on. It's just so suspenseful, edge of your seat. You don't know what's going to happen. Just a really, really well done book overall, man. It's so good.
You got me so curious about this. I'm going to have to get the trade for the first one.
I have the first trade.
It's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it. It's like it's a little disturbing. Don't get me wrong, because it's like there's murders that happen, and it's a serial killer bear, but she has this sickness. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like I don't know if you guys ever saw American Psycho, but it's like she's a bear in a small country. Doing these things.
It's like Dexter.
Yeah, in a way.
Yeah. And I like Dexter. Yeah.
If you like Dexter, I was gonna say I liked it in trade. That's why I remember because I read the first issue of this. I'm like, I kind of want to get it in trade because I read the first one in trade. Yeah. So I'll probably get the second one. I think you're gonna have a fun time reading it in trade because then you get like it does feel like it's kind of meant to be read as a graphic novel.
Gotcha. Yeah. For me, initially, it was the art that was off-putting. Not because it's a bear and all that stuff, but the art style. I was like, it doesn't really look like my thing. That's why I never tried it. But yeah,
I almost passed on it too.
Yeah.
And then they at the shop they said, Mike, you're gonna want to buy this and talk about it. It's really, really good. I'm like, really? It's a freaking bear, you know? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, okay. And I was blown away.
To answer that question, for me, it was it's daunting to come into the second volume. Yeah, exactly. So, and it's just like we read so many books. It's like, how do you find time to read a trade or something? So
it's also not like a feral where like, oh, save Korea team, but completely different story. So you don't need to read Stray Dogs. Like,
right.
I read volume 1 and I read the volume 2 issue 1. Like, you need to read volume 1 to understand volume 2.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So, Brent, what's yours?
Oh, number 3, Fantastic Four. So we already talked about it.
What about you, Kat?
Mine was Venom. So we already talked about it too.
Okay. Cool. All right. So we talked about Supergirl already. Now we're talking about Amazing Spider-Man Torn, issue 2. And it looks like Kat and I read this one.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. I don't think it's the best Spider-Man story.
Depends what you're looking for. If you're just looking for like classic Spider-Man, go read it. You know?
Exactly. It's got the classic characters before they are all their own superheroes or symbiotes. It's got Mary Jane and Peter in there as they share, like you would think maybe their first kiss. You know, it was very interesting that way. And then we got Spider-Man dealing with this like goblin-like character that got cursed by this book. And this character is trying to figure out a cure for it at the same time. And then Spider-Man is fighting her at the end. Again, it's not breaking any barriers, but it is an entertaining book. It's J. Michael Straczynski. It could be a little bit dialogue heavy at times, tends to over-explain things for no necessary reason. But it's fine for what it is, and I'm enjoying it.
I like the ending every single time of the book. Like it feels like all the beginning is like leading into this end. I'm like, well, I kind of want to see where this goes, and then it takes another like, okay, let's explain all this, and then the ending. So it's fun because the goblin character is obviously she's not a goblin. What is she? She's like a winged beast of some sort. I like her. I think she's really fascinating because she's the new interesting thing that's happening. Everything else we've kind of seen before, Spider-Man, MJ, whatever. But I'm like, I kind of want to know about her. And every single time she shows up, it just doesn't feel like she shows up for that long. But I also really like the art for this. I think that makes a difference. It feels
That's
like
good.
there's a lot of attention to detail. So yeah, if you like Spider-Man and you're looking for a fun series, go check it out. But if you do have a lot on your list, I agree with Mike. It's not like, oh my God, why you're not reading
Yeah.
porn. It's not like the Predator vs. Spider-Man where it's like, no, you need to read this book. It's
Right.
just like, yeah, it's fun. Whatever.
Right. If you have the extra money and you want to read the story, go for it. All right. So now with that being said, we go on to our number 2. And Brant, what do you got in number 2 this week?
Mine was actually Transformers. So we got
It's mine also.
Nice.
And
And
what do
mine's
you got?
Fantastic Four. So we already talked about it.
All right. Very cool. All right. And then we move on to Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum, issue 4. Let me tell you, this book is super trippy. I mean, this particular issue was way out there. Excuse me. It was just like one of those issues where it's like, man, I'm reading Ice Cream Man with freaking Superman, right? And he's dealing with like Mixoplick, and Kal-Elf is in there, and Batmite is in there, and very interesting to see where it's leading to going forward, because you got Lex Luthor, who cloned himself, has all the has the power of all the kryptonites, and then you got Bizarro robots. So it's going to make for a crazy conclusion in the next issue.
I'll say this wasn't my favorite issue because I do not like Mixoplick, but I obviously like the series. Like you said, the ending's really interesting. I like the different kryptonite that they've been using. It's been fun. If you like Superman, it definitely feels like a different type of Superman story, which I really liked. It felt out of the box. This issue wasn't for me, but every other issue I've liked.
Right. Totally get it. And then we're going to talk about American Caper, issue 1, which I'm just going to say now it was my number 1.
Mine too. Yeah, I really liked it a lot. So but let's see. Brant didn't. Let's hear. I actually want to hear Brant's not like.
Yeah, go ahead, Brant. Why didn't you like it?
So I like what it was going for. I like the statements in it and everything.
Yeah.
But I was just a little bored with it, honestly. And I was really excited about this because the guy wrote GTA and Red Dead Redemption.
Right.
And, you know,
I guess that's why Grand Theft Auto is never coming out. He wrote this book. So.
Yeah, maybe. but yeah, I mean, I really love the storytelling in those kind of games and stuff. So I was like excited about this. And just for anybody that hasn't read it, it's mostly narration, inner monologue throughout 90% of the book. And it was just the same old thing until the end. And like at the end, it was like, oh, okay, this is where we're going with that. And then it got a little bit more interesting for me. But I don't know. It was just, I don't know. It was a little boring for me.
I loved his voice. I think that's the thing that really sucked me in. And again, if you don't like his narration, you're not going to like the issue. But for me, from paragraph 1, I was like in. I liked his view on America. I liked his view on life. I thought it was really interesting to see like what his wife was doing, what his kids were doing. And I like that twist ending where you're like, he's like so jealous of his neighbor the whole entire time. And then you find out the neighbor's a killer and you're like, oh, where's that gonna go? So like I love the commentary. I love the commentary on like the American dream and I just really enjoyed it. And this is the type of story where I didn't expect to love it. I just like, oh, let me randomly pick this up. I'm sure it'll be like a middle of my pile because judging the book by its cover. And then I was like, whoa, I actually really like this a lot and it surprised me. And I love that. I love when a book you're not expecting anything and then you're really blown away. And I just really liked the voice for this book.
I actually picked this as my like sleeper pick of the week, and only because it just like when I read the synopsis of it, it just seemed a lot different. So I was like, this is something that can go under the radar for sure. You know, people will miss out on it. And just like you, Kat, like I was into this dude's story, like this poor guy, how he just is just surviving life, like I loved it. He's like this lawyer. He wanted to become this hero, and he
Yeah.
thought being a lawyer would do it. And then it didn't seem that way. He has this wife that's behind the computer
Horrible.
all day about
Yeah,
politics,
she's horrible. Yeah.
right? And then
The
the
kid is complete
daughters,
opposite.
yeah,
Yeah.
the daughter's always out there protesting. The son is like dreaming about girls and doesn't care about his son. Like there's just so many things. And then he's checking out the next door neighbor who are Mormons, and he wants to have sex with his wife, and he's like, that's the bad thing to do. I shouldn't do that. And I just loved hearing his entire story. I'm just like, and how miserable he is, and thinking that the people next door are perfect. And like you said, Guy, he is a murderer. And so now you're going to go more into his story. And
Yeah.
then you're going to go into a couple other characters' story as well. And so
Mhm.
I like that character aspect of this comic book. And that's what made it really cool in this Wyoming town that they're in, you
Yeah.
know?
And the art fit really well too. Like the grotesqueness of it
Yeah,
all, I
yeah.
thought fit really well.
And I like all of that, and I love the overtop satire in GTA. There's just something, you know, about it that's just kind of cool the way it's presented and stuff. But I don't know. I've never been a fan of a lot of inner monologue, and that's
Mhm.
probably my disconnect with it. I would have rather that stuff come about just, you know, more organically.
Naturally.
Yeah. So
I think it's hard
that's
for him though, because he has no one to talk to. I think this
that's
type of
true.
character that's like,
Yeah,
because he can't talk to his daughter, he can't talk
that
to his
makes
son, he can't talk
sense.
to his wife. So it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know
Yeah.
who he would talk to.
Right.
But that's understandable because, like, you know, inner monologue's not for everybody. And
No.
I'll even say comics sometimes use it as a crutch where you're like, oh, that sucks that I'd rather have had
Yeah.
a dialogue. But I
It-
don't think this comic did that. I think this comic had a reason why it was inner
oh yeah,
monologue.
no, I agree.
Yeah, it doesn't always work because I'm not always into
Mm.
that either.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But it's just, you can just the way it was drawn, and just you can feel like the writer here really giving this guy this
Yeah.
personality. So I just felt like the art and the dialogue really went well together,
Yeah.
and I was just into it.
Yeah.
I
That's
feel
cool.
like because it was an independent comic book, I felt like it worked better. Now, if you
Yeah.
did this with like a superhero comic book,
Oh,
it
for
just
sure. Yeah.
it wouldn't work. You would be like, shut up.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
still
get to
gonna
the
get the next.
action.
Yeah, I'm still
Mm.
gonna get the next issue. And don't get me wrong, I didn't hate it. It just, you know, I was a little. There's a
Yeah.
disconnect for me, and I
Was
already
it your
Totally.
number
admitted, so.
one?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what was your number one then, Brent?
Mine actually was Venom. I just had a lot of fun with it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It was
Very
fun
cool.
book.
All right. So that's all the comics then. So let's go ahead and talk about the most anticipated. I'll pass it to you, Brent.
Yeah.
Again,
Let's
this
get
is a
into it.
hard time to
Yeah.
pick because there's a lot of cool books tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's like I was trying to figure out what to pick and stuff, and like every book on all of our lists, I'm like, yeah, I'm excited for
Mm.
those too. So it's like I just had to, you know, I try to be a little bit different, but we'll get into it. Let's start with Mike's number 3. This is a book that I promised I'm gonna catch up. I got to read all 3 issues,
I
but
think you'll love it.
yeah,
It's so
Everything
good.
Dead and Dying issue number 3 comes out. So,
It's legit one of my favorite books that came out this year. Like, it's so good. I just am so excited to see where it goes, and I hope it like sticks the landing. Because sometimes
Yeah.
like a book like is really good in the beginning, and then the last issue doesn't really stick the landing. So I hope
I just don't know how it's going to
does.
end. How many issues? is it?
Exactly. It's only 5, so we have
Oh,
3
okay.
more.
So you're
I
Yeah.
feel like
halfway
it's
through,
just
yeah.
getting started. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? And it's just like, and I feel bad for this guy. I really do. Like, he's had his family for 12 years like this, and now you got some schmucks coming shooting at his house and destroying the way he lives. And I don't know. I have a feeling this could end up in a bad way for this guy by the time we get to the end of it. I don't
Yeah.
know how else it could end, to tell you the truth.
I think he's got to get shot down.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's what I like about this series. I
He
also
either
just
gets
genuinely
shot
don't know where it's
down,
going.
or he finally becomes a zombie
Yeah.
himself.
I just don't
or
know what
he
he does
kills
because he's
himself.
immune. He's
Oh,
immune
yeah.
to the disease. So,
I
but
know,
I can see
but
him kill himself.
maybe it changes, or like like he might kill himself. I don't know, but that's the only way I can see this really ending.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very curious to see where the series is gonna go.
I'm excited to read it all. So I mean, it's gonna be a busy week, but I'm gonna squeeze it in. I promised, and I will do it. But this is also Cat's number one. So let's go to your number three then, Cat. All new Spider Gwen Ghost Spider issue 4. We all are really enjoying this run of this book as well. So
Yeah, I like the last issue a lot. I really
yeah,
enjoyed where it ended, where the Venom is now its own villain
yeah,
and is going against Gwen. I just really like Stephanie Phillips' voice for this, and I love Spider Gwen. So to have a series, it's like actually good and exciting. It makes me happy. And again, there has been other ones that have been solid. Like I like Spider Gwen Smash, but they weren't ongoing. A lot of them were
yeah.
miniseries, so it's
This
nice to have an ongoing. That's also good.
this might be the first one that all three of us have been
Mhm.
on board with. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. So
I
yeah,
agree.
excited for that one. All right, let's go to Mike's number 2 and my number 1, which is GI Joe 14. We kind of talked about it earlier in the show. The Dreadnought War started last issue, so we're continuing that. And based on that teaser, it seems like maybe we're going to get more Mask.
Based off of that teaser, I
Yeah.
would switch it to my number one now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and this, from what I heard, is this book going bi-weekly now?
Yeah,
That's crazy if it is.
throughout
That's
the
wild.
Dreadnought War, yeah, it's bi-weekly.
Same creative team too. Like it's gonna be the same writer and artist.
I believe so. Yeah,
That's crazy. Who is
Yeah.
the artist for this?
Tom
Is it
Riley.
Connor? Okay,
it's-
I know
no,
Connor Hughes
yeah.
is doing. So he's doing Void Rivals. That's what he's doing. I'm like, I
Yeah.
know he's doing one of those books.
Yeah, he's doing Void Rivals. I think he's off it for the next arc, but then he's coming
Mm.
back on. So yeah,
But with GI Joe, I'm just excited to see like how this Dreadnought War progresses, and
yeah,
obviously the team up between Cobra Commander and Duke. I think, and this gives me a lot of like GI Joe the movie vibes.
yeah,
you know?
yeah, absolutely. It's got off to a great start, so I cannot wait for that next issue. All right, you mentioned it earlier, Kat. My number 2 is Guy in the Chair. I really like that first issue. We left off with the cliffhanger of the girl still being alive, so we're gonna see where that goes. His operative that, and now the company is kind of turned on them. So I'm curious to see where that's gonna head. And if it continues to be good, if this issue blows me away, I'll definitely let you all know.
No,
so we can
please,
maybe
yeah.
get it in trade or whatever. Yeah,
Or we could
or
like
the
I
next
might
issue,
even be
yeah.
able to read it for the show. So if
Yeah.
you tell, because I just can't read it for my review, but I might be able
Right.
to read it throughout the week. So just
Gotcha.
let me know.
Okay, definitely. And then we move to Spider-Man Holiday Spectacular issue 1. I think Mike talked about this on a show too.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and I know why you're excited about it, Kat, but I'll go ahead and let you talk about it.
Rainbow. She's writing the
Yes.
whole thing. I'm
Yeah.
I'm never disappointed in her writing.
Absolutely.
And especially her writing Spider-Man. That's gonna be really fun. So I wouldn't be excited for a holiday special if it wasn't
Right.
for Rainbow.
I like
Yeah.
the cover of the book too. It's like
Yeah.
a very traditional style of cover. I know that's dumb to bring up, but it just, I don't know. I am looking forward to it though. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah. I'll see if I can find the cover and share it.
Yeah, the cover, it's like a white, I feel like it's like a white cover. Like it
snow.
has like a lot of negative space. It's
Yeah.
a cool. I hope it's great because honestly, again, like I remember just like the small Lois stories she was writing in the back. Even both me and Brant read it, the Superman red, blue, and white issue. She wrote a great story there too. So I'm expecting something really solid.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I think I got it. Let's see.
Let's see that cover.
Just open it in another tab. Let me screen share. There it is. I think this is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, you got the snow in the background, traditional Spidey pose right there.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't remember who the artist is, but I feel like I was excited for the artist too.
This is Luciano Vecchio. Oh no, that's the cover artist. Who is the interior artist? Let's see.
I could look on League of Comic Geeks. I remember it was one artist, which I really like. Oh, Paco Medina.
Oh, Paco Medina. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great.
There
We
you
were
go.
just talking about him, and he did great.
I think Bob Quinn might be doing something in it too.
Which is great. I also love
Yeah.
Bob Quinn. He did Kill Your Darling. So
Yeah.
all great artists on there.
Right. Absolutely. That's gonna be a nice book. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If you're gonna get one holiday special, get this one.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the last book we have to talk about then is Exquisite
Oh, we have
Corpses.
two. I think you have yours too. Yeah, you're number 3.
You have your
Oh
number
yeah,
3.
yeah. I skipped
Yeah.
that completely. All right, I'll do that one first. Final Boss issue 1. This is Tyler Kirkham. I forget who is he writing and drawing it, Mike?
He's writing and drawing
yeah,
it. Yeah.
I'm getting this. Again, there were so many good books. I didn't know like what to book because I was like pretty excited for that too. It seemed like an interesting premise.
Yeah,
this was my sleeper pick for this week on the video that I did, just because it's Tyler Kirkham doing both. You can at very least get some very good artwork in this title.
Yeah. And again, the description just sounded like a lot of fun. It sounded like it just sounded like a cool book.
You know what I compared it to? Like a 90s like side scroller video game.
Yes, like Final Fight or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what you kind of sold it for me too. It's like, okay, this is gonna be fun. A lot of action, a lot of fighting, that kind of thing. So, and then finally, Exquisite Corpses issue 7, which Mike and I read, and just another fantastic series. How many issues is this one? Are we like halfway through, or is it almost done? I
think we're getting close to getting done. I think there's only a few people left in this tournament, and
I couldn't remember if it was 10 or
I don't remember how many issues it is, or maybe it was 13. I don't even know.
The solicits go up to 9, and that was January, but I don't think it is. I think it just goes up to that. So we know it's. I'm gonna see if I can look it up. Exquisite Corpses. How many issues? Here we go. 13. It says.
Yeah, so I was right.
So we're about halfway.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, my guy got eliminated, man.
Yeah, I know. gamer kid or whatever.
Such a good issue. I remember we talked about it too. But he's on the cover though this time, so I'm kind of excited.
At least you get the cover. You didn't get the cover buy on that.
I'm curious to see what will happen in this. It's a good book, man. I like the character work. I love how all the characters are very unique. It's fun, and you never know what you're going to get, and that's what makes this book so good.
And it came out at the perfect time because you heading into the Halloween season and all that stuff, and it fit the vibes of the time that it came out. So that always makes a book even more enjoyable.
Absolutely.
But that's it. That's all of them. I didn't miss any at this time, I think. But
no, I think you got them all.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, guys. Well, very good show. Almost just under 2 hours. And it is officially New Comic Book Day, a very heavy New Comic Book Day. So good luck. Hopefully you find all the comics that you're looking for, and you get in those Batman and Deadpool variant covers. And guys, thank you for watching. So make sure you give this video a like on your way out. It takes 1 second. And also subscribe to all 3 of our channels: Comic Uno, my channel, Comic Book Corner 2.0, Only Good Comics, which is Brant channel. And guys, we will see you next week, as we will definitely talk about some of those comic books that came out today. So guys, have a wonderful night. Thank you so much. Take care.